Hello and welcome. My name is Rex Cordova. I'm a full-time legal videographer and founder of Litigate, a business that generates six figures off legal video work alone. I've personally trained over 100 working legal videographers to break into this niche. Most people don't even know this job exists, but it's real. It pays well, and more importantly, it needs people like you. This is not some kind of hype video, okay? This is a roadmap, a real one. If you're a freelancer, a creator, a career switcher, or just someone looking for serious weekday work with real clients and real money, you're in the right place. So, what are we doing here today? We are doing a webinar. I wish I had a better studio setup running right now, but the reality is I live in a high pressure world, okay? And when we hit a snag, we don't stall, we just keep rolling forward. So what you're getting right now is a stripped down voiceover presentation, but it's still truth first. It's made for people who want the truth about this weird little niche that nobody knows about. In this webinar, we are going to go through what legal videography actually is, how it fits into the legal system, what the job looks like day to day, how people get started, how people screw up, who this is for, and how you can be different and break in right. Sound good? Let's do it. Okay, so why should you believe the voice that you're hearing? This mysterious voice coming through your speakers? I'm Rex Cordova. I've been in the legal video industry full-time for over 9 years. I broke into this field not as a side hustle, but as a full-time working legal videographer for one of the big national firms. After a few years, I started my own company, Litigate, several years ago. That company earns six figures just from legal video. We employ full-time staff. We subcontract. We've trained many. This isn't theory, okay? This is my day job. But my resume doesn't stop there. It goes on. I also serve on the CLVS Council of the National Court Reporters Association, the NCRA. By the way, CLVS stands for Certified Legal Video Specialist. NCRA is the leading nonprofit professional organization for court reporters in the country, and they've been around for over 125 years. Legal videographers are deeply tied into that world. Court reporters produce the official written transcript. We produce the video record. So I hold that Certified Legal Video Specialist designation. And as a council member, one of few, I help update their online training, filmed their instructional content. I'm literally the guy talking to you. If you sign up for CLVS training, you'll see me. And I regularly travel to their DC area headquarters to train and test new legal videographers. But that's not all. Earlier this year, I also helped found Advancing Legal Video, another nonprofit, this one created by legal videographers and for legal videographers. It exists to grow the community, raise the standards, and support the professionals already in the field. And of course, I built Legal Video Ace. That's how you got here. Legal Video Ace is the full system I wish I had when I was starting out. It exists to fix a big problem that nonprofits couldn't solve: onboarding. Because here's the truth. The legal videography industry has never had an effective way to bring new people in. It's niche, high trust, and invisible to most people. But that invisibility, it kills recruitment. That's why you never hear about this field. Legal Video Ace finally flips the script. It's for profit. And because of that, it can afford to bring in affiliates, generate awareness, and actually train people at scale. It's the first serious on-ramp into legal video built from the ground up ever. So when I tell you this work is real, I mean it. I've lived it. I've trained over 100 people into it. I've built teams. I've shipped the gear. I've done the rush jobs. I've seen what happens when you walk in unprepared and what happens when you nail it. I know this world inside out, okay? And I'm here to help you break in. So, what is legal video? Legal video, at its most basic level, is the professional recording of legal proceedings or evidence. And the most common form of this, by far, is the deposition. You'll hear that term a lot, by the way, deposition, also known as depo or dep. It's a regional thing. People will call it depo or dep, depending on where you are. Few people call it the full deposition. Little tidbit for you there. It's common industry shorthand. Depositions are recorded interviews taken under oath. We'll go into more detail on this shortly. For now, know that depositions are usually conducted before a trial and are considered official testimony. If you've ever seen clips of celebrities getting grilled in court on YouTube or in documentaries, like Donald Trump pictured here, or Elon Musk, or Lil Wayne, that's usually a video deposition. You'll often see them sitting in front of a weird hand-painted backdrop that looks like a high school photo shoot. That's the classic deposition look, but don't let that fool you. These recordings are serious business. They're used as evidence, sometimes even replacing in-person courtroom testimony. As the legal videographer, your job is to set up the camera, microphones, and the backdrop. You frame the witness, you monitor the audio, and you record exactly what happens. No edits, no cuts, no music, just the truth as it unfolds. Sometimes that video you recorded gets played in court, right? It'll be in front of a judge and jury. Sometimes it's used for settlement or mediation. Sometimes it ends up in the news or a documentary years later. But the key takeaway is your footage is the legal record. So now that we're talking legal, let's zoom out. Let's look at the big picture. Where does legal video fit in the legal process? First off, most video is going to be for civil cases, okay? Criminal courts handle themselves usually with government employee court reporters. Legal videographers are usually hired along with court reporters, working for private firms hired by private attorneys to step in as officers of the court for civil cases. You're not filming a bunch of real crime legal video, okay? We're doing business litigation, medical malpractice, personal injury, things like that, right? You get the idea. Now, you can see on the right here, we have this pretty decent job by LexisNexis here to simplify the legal process and show you how it works. But to simplify this simplification even more, we got it down to these. In the legal process, the short version is, first, something happens. An accident, right? An injury, a dispute. Then a lawsuit is filed. The plaintiff sues a defendant, right? Once the case begins, it moves into a long methodical process called discovery. That's where you come in. Both sides start gathering evidence in this discovery step. During discovery, attorneys send documents, write up interrogatories, and most importantly, they take depositions. That's when they ask witnesses under oath to explain what happened. This is a core part of litigation. The depositions you record as a legal videographer happen here. And sometimes they also happen close to trial, especially with expert witnesses, doctors, engineers, scientists, You may be recording the deposition that will actually serve as their in-courtroom testimony. If it goes to trial, that's played instead of them showing up. And sometimes the judge will ask for that video to be edited, or the attorneys think the judge will appreciate if the video is edited. And guess who gets to edit that? Legal videographers. So you're not just recording the video. You might also be brought in to make it court playable. Legal video can thread through the entire back half of the case. That's why I put these little emojis here. You're filming the step before trial, the part where attorneys gather and shape the story. That's the bottom line. Depositions are where most legal videography happens. And this is all before we even talk about medical exams, site inspections, or the half dozen other types of jobs that fall under legal videography. Deposition work is the core, but this field goes much deeper than that. So now we have an idea of where legal video fits in the legal video process. Now, let's talk about where you work. Conference rooms. That's usually the case. When we're talking depositions, we are talking conference rooms. You're not in a courtroom. Most of the time, you're in one of these places. Sometimes in a co-working space, sometimes in a hotel, but almost all the time, you're in some conference room of some sort, which is pretty cool. It's low drama, air conditioning, white collar space, but you're still very much a kind of hybrid blue collar, white collar technician in the room because you carry the gear, you wire the mics, you troubleshoot on the fly. You're often the only tech person on site and the only one who knows how to solve an audio issue, to frame your shot, recover corrupted footage, help troubleshoot people's laptops. You're like a one-person AV squad and tech support, but sometimes in a suit. So, in this conference room, who's in the room? Let's talk about that. In a typical deposition, you'll have your witness. You'll have your questioning attorney. I did not label who's the questioning attorney here, the main questioning attorney, right? There's usually the attorney who sets the deposition and often who hires you. Not all the time, but often will be the main one asking questions. Let's just say the plaintiff attorney is the main questioning attorney. Opposing counsel is the other side, the attorney on the other side who will object. You have your court reporter who's capturing every word that everybody's saying. And then you have you, the legal videographer. And that's usually it. Sometimes you'll see paralegals, extra attendees, or you have multiple people on defense because let's say the plaintiff is suing 5 different entities and they have different attorneys. Sometimes they'll show up. Everyone is expected to know exactly what they're doing. Everybody has a role. That includes you. You have the court reporter producing the official transcript. You're producing the video record. Now, let's be real here. If we're talking about hierarchy, everyone agrees the witness is the most important person in the room. I think everyone can also agree the legal videographer is probably the least important person in the room, or maybe not least important, but the bottom of the totem pole. Okay, that's for sure. The attorneys are kind of running the show. The court reporter is the official officer of the court. They swear in the witness and all that. And then there's you, who support the record visually. But, being at the bottom has its perks. I mean, it means you get to stay quiet. You focus on your job. You let these guys argue, or ladies, or whoever it is. You let them argue. If you're smart, you speak only when absolutely necessary. In fact, that's one of the first pieces of advice I give new trainees. Speak less, watch more. Your job is to preserve the record, right? You speak only when the integrity of the record is at risk. We're talking emergencies here. Someone's mic falls off, audio drops out, camera breaks. Otherwise, you're basically silent. You're steady. Fly on the wall is the most popular phrase. So that's who's in the room, but let's talk about what you actually do. What are you responsible for? First off, a note. Legal video is not creative video. Okay, it's not the same kind of work. Legal video is about being consistent, being neutral, being reliable. You have to show up early, set up cleanly, monitor carefully for the entire proceeding. The creativity is not seen in your video. You're just trying to capture a complete record. No do-overs, no cutaways, there's no retakes, right? People who have succeeded the most in legal video historically have had broadcast backgrounds. They understand the high pressure world of capturing something once correctly. Similarly, wedding videographers get this too, but legal video is even more exacting. It's a world where you don't edit your way past problems. You don't get to fix things in post. You leave with a complete compliant record. That's your job. So what does it mean in practice? You are going to receive a legal document called a notice. The notice of deposition is often a PDF that officially calls for a legal proceeding to take place. In this case, a deposition. It'll say who, what, where, and when. It'll often specify that a legal videographer and a court reporter are expected to appear. So you get the notice. You plan to show up at the location it tells you to be at 60 to 90 minutes early. That may sound like overkill, but it's actually not. It's standard. You don't get time back once people are in the room, okay? You figure out where people are going to sit in the room. You determine where your camera and microphones go, and you set up your gear. You plug in power, you test everything, you frame the shot, you test your audio. You create a calm, prepared space. Sometimes you get the setup before anyone walks in. Other times, attorneys are already there when you arrive. Either way, you remain professional and methodical. And here is an example of a typical deposition layout. What's funny about this, I call this hot dog style. This is the kind of standard throughout most of the country, where you have the legal videographer is on one end of this rectangular table, and you put the witness on the opposite end with the court reporter between the witness and the main questioning attorney. In this example, the plaintiff attorney is the main questioner, and the witness often sits next to the attorney that they're represented by, if they have an attorney that they're represented by. In this example, it's the defense attorney. You'll have this kind of setup. The longer the table is, the further you are away from everybody else, and the longer focal length that your lens needs to accommodate, right? But there is a hamburger style where you as a legal videographer sit on one of these sides and the witness is opposite you, with the questioning attorney sitting next to you. That's something you see more in California because of the business, right? And if you know what the business is, it's Hollywood. People know that people will naturally talk facing the attorney. So the witness will want to look at the attorney that they're talking to instead of the camera. If the attorney's near the camera, then the witness looks like they're looking at the camera. It makes a better video. So I applaud our West Coast friends who do the hamburger style. However, since most of the rest of the country does this, that's what happens. Just giving you some extra info. So this is your typical deposition layout. You're going to be the one who basically tells people where to sit. A lot of times when they come in, they will ask you where they should be going. So this is a big part of your job that's not just gear. It's just you knowing your role. Once everyone's in the room and ready to go, you ask if everyone is ready to begin. Then you start your recording process. Usually, that involves your verbal read-on, which is a whole script, and we'll teach you that in the Legal Video Ace system. You monitor the recording, you stay alert, you stay present, and you don't speak unless necessary. Your only role is to intervene if the record is at risk. Remember, everything you say has to be taken down by the court reporter on the record. And they don't necessarily expect you to be chiming in all the time. So, when the deposition ends, which, to be honest, can sometimes be unclear. This is another thing that you will have to work on. But once everyone agrees to go off the record, you stop recording. You go off the record and you follow the process for deposition work. You pack up cleanly and quietly. Then you prepare and deliver the video files, often in multiple formats for different recipients, right? The court reporter, hiring attorney, or a centralized file drop, depending on who hired you. That's the job. So why do people fail at this job? Why do so many eager, well-meaning people flake out of legal video? In a single word, it's because they're unprepared. People fail because they lack context, training, and a backup plan. They show up with the wrong gear, or they don't know how to use the gear they brought. They haven't practiced with it. They haven't done real-world dry runs. They don't understand the legal process enough to be confident in their role. They panic under pressure. To be honest, they just don't know what they don't know. And legal clients, attorneys, they are not forgiving. If you blow it, you may never work in that town again. Because here's the real kicker. Legal video is a premium service, okay? It's not something attorneys order by default. It's something they pay extra for. And they only do that when the case matters, when it's high stakes, when the client's paying thousands of dollars per hour to litigate. So when a videographer shows up looking unsure with questionable gear or uncertain posture, the attorneys notice. And if they sniff weakness, they are not hiring you again. And the worst part is they talk, gossip, travels, attorneys gossip, court reporters gossip. Your reputation travels faster and farther than you do. The truth is, most legal video gigs are with attorneys who've been practicing for dozens of years. They're hardened litigators. They know the game. They don't want to train you on the fly or think they're relying on somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And there are landmines everywhere. Maybe you think you're on the record for 45 minutes, but 3 minutes in, the attorney asks to go off the record to collect the witness's social security number. You weren't ready for it. Now you look like an amateur. Or a seasoned videographer would have asked ahead of time, is there anything you'd like to collect before we go on the record? Maybe you forget a mic battery and it dies mid-deposition. Maybe you botch the timestamp overlay, right? Maybe you forget to plug in your mixer into the camera. Okay, that's not theoretical. That's a real mistake I made years into my career. Even experienced legal videographers mess up. Okay, the difference is that pro systems cover your ass. Okay, in my case, where I forgot to connect the mixer to the camera. Okay, it was a special job. It was not your average job. Okay, I had a backup audio recording that saved the day. The mixer is a recording mixer, so I got the same audio anyway. But if I didn't have that system, the entire job could have been compromised. The bottom line is this job has a very narrow margin for error, and the industry is small. If you flake, or you fumble, or you fake it, you're out. That's why serious training matters. This isn't a job where you just wing it. This is a job where being meticulous pays off. So, who is legal videography actually for? Legal video is a flexible job, but only if you're available during weekday business hours. This is not a side hustle you can sneak in after hours or on the weekends. It lives squarely in Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 world. But if you can make that work, it opens a lane that most creators never even see. Legal videography works really well for creators burned out on edits. Legal video is edit-free for most of your work. You just show up, record cleanly, and deliver a final file. No post, no polishing, no endless revision cycles, right? Now, if you screw up and you can do some light editing to fix it, great. But that's not how you're supposed to do the job. Legal video is also great for freelancers tired of the grind. This isn't flaky influencer gigs or maybe projects. These are weekday appointments. They're booked in advance by real professionals. Legal video is also great for wedding videographers, right? The legal off season is basically summer. That's the slow season. And that overlaps with the wedding high season. They complement each other really well. And you probably have video equipment. In general, also not just wedding videographers, but if you run any kind of video company and you didn't know about legal video, that's another revenue stream you can add to your business. Next up is tech savvy side hustlers. If you got weekday flexibility at all, you can build a legal video kit, take jobs when you're available, keep control over your time, and add another revenue stream to your business. This is also great for career switchers. If you're ready for real professional work in a calm, structured environment, this awesome blue collar, white collar hybrid, if that appeals to you, this might be a perfect fit. This is also for burned out court reporters. If you've done the hustle, the transcription marathon, the back to back jobs day to day to day, you can pivot into something slower paced, but still valuable and respected and well paying. Bottom line, if you're available during weekday business hours, this is probably the best kept secret in freelance video. This might be your calling. So why are we talking about this now? Legal video's been around for a long time. We're talking about it because people don't know about it and no one talks about it. And when they do talk about it, it's in obscure Facebook threads, behind closed agency doors, or buried in niche forums from 2009. This industry has a barrier to entry that has nothing to do with skill. It's about access. Most people who break in, they're married to a court reporter. They got pulled in through a firm or were hired and trained from scratch by someone like me. And by the way, I got hired by a firm full time. That's what happened to me. They trained me up, threw me in the deep end, and I swam. Legal Video Ace is about tearing down that barrier and about putting the power in your hands. We built it for people like you. Right. Legal video is AI resistant work. So as AI starts turning industries over, legal video is one of the industries that stick out, and it needs you. This is not a hype train, okay? This is real weekday work with real professional clients. People like you are exactly what this industry needs. Smart, capable freelancers, creators who want consistent work without burnout, career switchers who are ready for a new path, and people who are sick of fighting the algorithm in general. And this is why I built Legal Video Ace. I've been training people the hard way for almost a decade. All in person, one-on-one, on the job, in the field. Over 100 people trained, many of them with zero legal background and minimal or no gear or experience. I've handed people a camera in the morning and watched them walk into a $250 job that afternoon. But I've also seen the breakdowns, the panic when they couldn't fold the backdrop, the fumble when they hit the wrong button on the mixer, or the blank stares, long silences when they had no idea what was supposed to happen next. There's a gap between being able to record a deposition and being able to succeed as a legal videographer. The job looks simple, but it isn't. Not once you're in the room with a partner-level attorney across the table expecting you to be as experienced as they are. Legal Video Ace fills that gap. It's the complete system for becoming a legal videographer. There was no complete system for becoming a legal videographer until Legal Video Ace, a true complete system. I built it to help grow this industry, filter out the flakes, deliver ready-to-work professionals to firms who need them, and ultimately improve the legal system. So let's talk about the realities of legal video. Real talk time. This is not some magic get-rich-quick niche. You don't buy the course on Monday and have a six-figure career by Friday. But if you're in the right market and you're serious, you absolutely can build a six-figure business over time, like I did. I mean, that requires training. You'll need to get trained, do your reps, build trust, earn repeat clients, and grow steadily. And it may be slow. We're talking a year or 2 years. Legal video is most often part-time work. That part-time work can come with full-time pay, but your mileage may vary. The hourly rates are high, but your calendar takes time to fill. The trust takes time to earn. The work is strong in major metro areas. If you're in LA, Chicago, New York, Houston, Miami, you can get work fast. But if you're rural, that's a tougher road. Although you do have remote options, and we cover those in the full system. And here's another critical truth. Cancellations are part of the game. Roughly 40% of depositions cancel after being scheduled, if you schedule in advance. Okay, this is like more than a few days in advance before the job. Which, when you think about it, that's rather last minute to most people's standards. It may be last minute to you. Real confirmations, knowing the job is really happening, only happens like the day before. So if you want to succeed, you need to be ready for anything. You need to be ready to handle any job that you're offered the night before, or you need to be ready to launch for jobs on your calendar, not knowing if they're happening or not until the night before. You got to be ready at all times, because legal video is a high trust profession. You can't wing this, okay? Attorneys expect you to know how to read a legal notice, how to set up your mics correctly, know all your tech, monitor everything like a hawk. Don't fall asleep. Never miss a syllable in the record. Know when to go on and off. And deliver court-ready files with no excuses, no mistakes. If you screw up, you can be toast. And word travels fast, like we talked about. Attorneys talk or reporters talk. One mistake, and suddenly you're not getting called back. Legal Video Ace was made to prevent that. It's your solution. It's how you make sure you're ready the first time you walk into that room. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what Legal Video Ace looks like. Let's look inside the full system, right? Legal Video Ace is your full training system. It comes with gear guides that tell you what to buy, what to skip, how to scale smart. You get setup demos, field-tested tricks to avoid rookie errors. You get job type breakdowns, depositions, hybrids, remotes, medical exams, site inspections, and more. You get real-world walkthroughs based on actual field training that I've done over the years. I've seen what works and what doesn't work, and I've put the best together here. You get client behavior primers, meaning what your clients expect, how to sound like a pro to them, know the lingo, how to make them happy and keep getting hired, business training. We give you marketing scripts, outreach tactics, invoicing, client management, and more. But most importantly, you're getting lifetime access to all future updates. When we make new templates, new checklists, scripts, community resources, everything we roll out from here on is yours forever when you get the Legal Video Ace full system. We're going to be entering drop season very soon, and we're going to be dropping so much new stuff you won't believe it. There are no tiers. There's no upsells here. You get everything forever. This is the course I wish I had when I started. It's the shortcut that hasn't existed until now. So let's bring this home. Why are we talking about this? Why now? Because the legal video industry needs you. It has videographers. It has plenty of videographers, but not enough great ones. Not enough people who are trained, reliable, and ready to show up and work like real professionals. So we're kicking the doors open. If you want to earn with your camera, You want weekday work that actually pays, and you want to stop chasing flaky clients and start showing up for something real? This is your shot. Legal Video Ace gives you the roadmap, the training, and the support to actually do it. So visit legalvideoace.com, get your lifetime access, deploy, and get paid. This isn't hype. This is how you break in. Thank you for watching. Now let's get to work.